Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining today. We're going to give just a couple more minutes for attendees to join, and then we'll get started. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today to meet South Africa. We're going to wait just about one more minute to allow for a few more people to join, and then we'll get started. Thank you. All right, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today from wherever you are. My name is Kimberly Sturdivant-Wasson, and I'm the Director of Partnerships here at TourRadar. Before we get started, if you have any questions about TourRadar or South Africa, please feel free to post them in the chat. I am joined by my two amazing team members, Gay Span, who is the head of our North American Travel Agent Program, and Rahul Kamdar, who is our Global Agent Support on the call, and they will be looking out for any questions that you have. So feel free to chat away. With that, I'm going to pass it over to our wonderful guest today, Christy Angelotti at Meet South Africa.
Thanks, Kimberly, and thank you to the incredible team at TourRadar for inviting us to join today and take you all on a brief but virtual journey to beautiful South Africa. So I'm Christy Angelotti. I am the head of Trade Relations North America for the South African Tourism Board. Today with some practical information about traveling to South Africa. So we're located on the southern coast of the African continent, and South Africa is about twice the size of Texas. So it has a wide range of ecosystems. We have mountain ranges, arid deserts, we've got a tropical coastline in the east along the Indian Ocean side, and a Mediterranean climate in the west. And we have savannas covering about a third of the country, which is partially why we are so well known for having such incredible safari experiences in game parks throughout the country, not only the Kruger National Park. South Africa is home to 60 million diverse people who are well known for warmth, hospitality, and just authenticity as you travel and meet people. So South Africa's nickname is the Rainbow Nation. And many people are surprised to learn that we have 11 official languages. And one of them, of course, is English, which is widely spoken. So your clients shouldn't expect to have any communication barriers on their travels. So the country is divided into 9 provinces, each with its own incredible diversity and history. The currency in South Africa is the rand, and that fluctuates from about 15 to 18 to 1 against the US dollar on average. And travelers are delighted to see how far their dollar stretches when they travel through South Africa. Most major credit cards are accepted. There are ATMs throughout the country, including the airports, so it's pretty easy to get cash, pay with a credit card, and sort of transact as your clients travel. Now, our major cities are Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban. And for those of you who like to refer to cities by their airport codes, we're looking at JNB, CPT, and DUR for our major cities. And about as far as you will travel internally in South Africa would be, let's say, from Cape Town to Kruger National Park, and that longest flight distance across the country would be about 2.5 hours. So it could not be easier to send your clients to South Africa, since no shots and no visas are needed for visitors from the US and Canada staying up to 90 days. What they do need are 2 consecutive blank passport pages for each entry into the country. And all the COVID-related entry protocols are pretty much long gone. They were lifted in June of 2022. The country's borders reopened to North American guests in December of 2020. So South Africa has been receiving quite a lot of tourists for 2 years now, travelers for about 2 years now since the start of the pandemic. So a question we get often is, when is the best time to go? And the short answer is South Africa really is a year-round destination. So the longer answer is that South Africa is a large country. Like we saw a few slides ago, we have varying ecosystems, but I liken it to California. There is not a terrible time to travel weather-wise. And to overgeneralize, the temperature range fluctuates from, let's say, between 40 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So high season for safari would be June to October. And that's just because there are fewer water sources. The animals tend to congregate around those water sources, but that is definitely not the only time to go on safari. The game viewing is quite plentiful year-round, and South Africa's national parks have a pretty high density of variety of wildlife in each of the parks and the private reserves, regardless of the season. Now, remember, we're in the Southern Hemisphere, so the seasons are opposite. December to February is summertime. It's the end of summer right now, and there's nothing quite like summertime in South Africa, especially in the Western Cape, which has one of the few Mediterranean climates in the world. And the summer means longer days, more sunshine, beach days, and lots of festivals and events happening. And I personally like going on safari that time of year as well, even if it's a bit hot in the afternoon, because that means you can use the pools at the lodges. So if your clients are the type of travelers that like to get out of town in the North American winter, always a good thing to remind them that it's a wonderful time to visit South Africa. Now, you may be wondering who's coming to South Africa, and the demographics have been shifting, and younger generations are actually outpacing baby boomers in recent years for the first time. So a lot of this is being driven by millennials, who currently make up the largest share of travelers from North America. And I think it's because they've realized that South Africa is easy to travel to. They know it's got incredible value, and just are not waiting until retirement to take that bucket list trip like maybe their parents' generation. So Gen X is not far behind the millennials, and the boomers are still coming. We do expect more of an increase in the future, but they've been a little bit slower to come back since the pandemic. We're also excited to see that Gen Z is increasing quite a lot. Now, we get quite a lot of LGBTQ visitors since the country is so welcoming. Honeymooners are also a key source of arrivals to South Africa, and I really can't think of many better destinations for a big honeymoon experience with so much variety and so many opportunities for romance. We're also seeing cruisers, families, and especially in the North American summer months, multi-generational groups. Another thing that's interesting that we're seeing are digital nomads. A lot of them are coming and setting up shop, staying for a month or two, which is easy to do since you can stay for up to 90 days visa-free. And you know, these sort of flexible travelers that have these remote jobs will stay and stretch their dollar. So for example, the price of one yoga class in LA would equal an unlimited month of yoga in Cape Town. So cool, it's a cool idea to kind of go and set up shop and stay for a longer visit. Now, let's talk about the food. The food is incredible, and this comes as a pleasant surprise to many visitors who don't know quite what to expect. So fresh, organic, inventive, familiar, spiced, all of those types of cuisines are commonplace, and there is a huge variety, like all things in South Africa. So you can find anything from South African fast food chains to multi-course tasting menus by celebrity chefs. And don't forget about the favorable exchange rate. Your clients can enjoy gourmet restaurants every night, really no matter what their budget is. And a lot of travelers are surprised to see that pretty much all dietary preferences can be accommodated. It's an easy country to eat in for vegans, for vegetarians, if they're gluten-free, and meat eaters will pretty much be in heaven if they attend a braai, which is South Africa's version of a barbecue. So some things that are unique to South Africa are bunny chow, which is a curried dish in a bread bowl found mostly in the Durban area, or maybe biltong, which is South Africa's version of beef jerky. The national dessert is malva pudding. It's like a caramel flavored bread pudding. And rooibos tea, which you can even get in latte form in most coffee shops by ordering the red latte. And don't forget about the wine. We could pretty much spend an entire hour all day talking about the wine alone. There are multiple wine regions in South Africa, mostly in the Western Cape, not far from Cape Town. And South Africa's unique varietal is Pinotage. And if anyone is familiar with sundowners, maybe you've been to South Africa, that is a daily ritual on safari and really anywhere in South Africa. Enjoy your beverage of choice while watching the sunset across the country's diverse landscapes. So year after year, South Africa makes the top where to travel next list. And this year is no different. So here are just a few of the headlines and the publications that we've seen recently. And since we were just talking about the food, I'll say that Lonely Planet listed South Africa in the best of travel for the eat category in 2023, among other lists, saying best places to travel in winter. One of the top cities in the world is Cape Town. So it's always nice to share these articles with your clients if South Africa is on their list. I have excellent news regarding air access, and I'm so happy to say that it has never been easier to get to South Africa from North America. So we have several new routes on United and Delta who now serve both Johannesburg and Cape Town with direct flights from Newark, Washington, D.C., and Atlanta. And that is not the only way to get there. There are so many other ways. If your clients would like to route themselves through Europe, the Middle East, even Ethiopia, just endless options for air access. So South Africa is often referred to as a world in one country because it has this unparalleled variety of experiences. There are few destinations on this planet that really can offer this much exciting variety. And let's look at a few of what our top experiences are in these categories to show you just what I mean by that. Starting with safaris. So South Africa offers some of the best wildlife viewing experiences on the planet, and the most famous park is the Kruger National Park. So Kruger is about the size of New Jersey. It's easily accessible by air or road, and it's made up of the public national park and private game reserves, where a lot of the luxury lodges are located with private guiding experiences. You may be familiar, for example, with the Sabi Sands or the Timbavati. Those are private reserves adjacent to the Kruger, where you'll have the open vehicle guided safari experience. Now, what you may not know is that there are safari experiences available in game reserves throughout the country, not only in the Kruger. And there are multiple regions with malaria-free game reserves and lodges, and those are quite popular as well, especially with families. So regions like the Eastern Cape, Madikwe, the Waterberg, Johannesburg, those are examples of regions that have fantastic lodges, incredible wildlife viewing that are on par with the Greater Kruger National Park, maybe just a little bit lesser known. And keep in mind that just the act of going on safari really is a sustainable travel choice. So a quick bit of history here. Throughout the 20th century, areas like the Kruger National Park were set aside for conservation, and that was to ensure that a large portion of the safari tourism revenue was reinvested into both wildlife protection and community development. Then in 1996, South Africa became the first country in the world to adopt responsible tourism as official policy, which prioritized conservation of wildlife and natural resources with respect to local cultures. So that mission continues today, now more so than ever. So if you have clients that are interested in sustainable travel, in conservation, they can feel comfortable and confident to know that their tourism dollars in South Africa are spent for a good cause. We also have so many ways to get outside, to take in the fresh air, and enjoy all the scenic beauty offered in our natural open spaces. So pictured here is Table Mountain, one of the 7 new wonders of nature. This is our iconic mountain located in Cape Town. It's part of Table Mountain National Park, and views of it can be enjoyed from all across the city. You can take the cable car to the top for these stunning panoramic views of the city and the coast. And adventurous travelers can hike Table Mountain, which is one of my favorite things to do. And it's a great way to balance out all the incredible food and wine that your clients will enjoy. So you're probably familiar with South Africa's winelands. We mentioned them earlier. They've been farming wine in South Africa for 364 years, way longer than the Napa Valley. A lot of people say it reminds them, the winelands remind them of Napa before it became heavily commercialized. Another reason, though, to visit the winelands is for the gorgeous scenery. So the most well-known wine regions are about an hour from Cape Town, give or take, and your clients will just have countless options for quaint properties, wineries, lovely experiences, gourmet restaurants, all with these stunning mountainous backdrops to enjoy during afternoons of wine tasting. For the ultimate scenic viewing of South Africa's landscapes, we also have luxury rail experiences. So Rovos Rail and the Blue Train have overnight multi-day train journeys with gourmet food and wine and endless views of the South African countryside across multiple provinces. Now let's talk about our beaches. South Africa has nearly 2,000 miles of pristine coastline and over 50 blue flag beaches. We have 2 oceans on our coast, the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean. And travelers that would like to see the southernmost point of Africa can visit Cape Agulhas. This is where the 2 oceans meet. One of our most well-known beaches is Boulders Beach, pictured here. This is located in Cape Town. It's famous for its colony of African land penguins. And there you can visit, walk on the boardwalk, and just take in all the cuteness of watching the penguins waddle about on the beach. Every year, between June and October, the southern right whales can be seen migrating along the southern coast of the continent as well. And the best spot for land-based whale watching is the town of Hermanus. That's about 2 hours from Cape Town. This is known as the whale watching capital of the world, and there are lovely properties to spend a few days enjoying all this region has to offer, including marine safaris that you can do by boat or helicopter, where your clients can look for the marine Big Five. So we don't have only the safari Big Five, we also have the marine Big Five. Now, in South Africa, we have countless options for unique cultural experiences as well. So a lot of travelers want to follow in Nelson Mandela's footsteps and learn more about his life and his legacy. In Johannesburg, they can visit the Apartheid Museum, which offers deep insight into the history of the struggle against the apartheid regime and Mandela's lifelong contributions, his sacrifices, and the struggle that helped build South Africa as the democratic nation. Also, in Johannesburg, lots of travelers visit the township of Soweto. This is where the Mandela House is located. You can stop there, see where he lived as a young man and professional, and where he lived down the street from Desmond Tutu, the only street in the world where two Nobel Peace Prize winners actually lived pretty much across the street from each other. Cycling tours are also available in Soweto and many other townships. They're led by local residents, which is just a really cool way to learn more from a local and just engage and meet people. So Robben Island is in Cape Town. This is the island prison where Nelson Mandela spent 18 of his 27 years in prison, and the tours there are led by former political prisoners. So travelers that are interested in Robben Island can take a ferry there from Cape Town's V&A waterfront. And remember from earlier, South Africa has 11 official languages, and so many cultures are represented in the country. And your clients can engage with some of the different cultures by visiting a cultural village. So travelers can learn more about South Africa's diverse people, whether they're interested in learning about the Zulus, meeting Zulus, Sangomas, a traditional healer, maybe doing some spear throwing or staying in a Zulu homestead. Or maybe they want to visit the San people in the Northern Cape who invented the click language. Now, one of the coolest experiences in the culture category is visiting the Cradle of Humankind. This is a UNESCO site about 30 miles northwest of Johannesburg. It's home to the largest concentration of human ancestral remains anywhere in the world. So near there, you visit the Sterkfontein Caves, you explore where they visited many of these early hominid fossils, and then there's a visitor center at Maropeng, which is this just incredible museum that focuses on the development of humans and our ancestors over the past few million years. So adventure travelers love South Africa since we have so many exciting adrenaline pumping experiences in every corner of the country to offer. One of the most exciting is shark cage diving, and this is as close as you can or would want to safely get to great whites and copper sharks and just meet them face to face underwater for the thrill of a lifetime. The best place for this is in the Hansbaai, which is near the town of Hermanus. If you remember from a few slides ago, Hermanus is the whale watching capital, and that's only about 2.5 hours from Cape Town. And then safari itself is one of the ultimate travel adventures. And for those who are a bit more adventurous, you can step out of the vehicle and go for a bushwalk. This is one of my favorite things to do on safari. I love getting out of the vehicle, seeing the tracks, the small animals, taking more notice of the flora and fauna, and even the occasional larger animals, which you will see from a safe distance, of course. And as you can imagine, bushwalks can and will only be done when led by a trained safari guide from your lodge. Now, South Africa is a mountainous country, and there's so much incredible hiking as well. And the hiking capital is in the Drakensberg Mountains. This is the highest mountain range in South Africa, and it's located on the eastern side of the country in a province called KwaZulu-Natal, which is not far from Durban. This is not the only place for hiking, though. Cape Town and the Western Cape, even the Winelands, all have their share. There's also an itinerary that stretches along the southern coast called the Garden Route. There are endless hiking trails there, adventure experiences, and lots of coastal views. I always try to add hikes to my itinerary and visiting South Africa. There's so much outdoor scenic beauty to enjoy, no matter where you are in the country. Now, we also have major metropolitan cities with so much to offer in terms of city vibe, culture, and lots of cool nightlife. So Cape Town, Johannesburg, and even Durban have a lot to offer in terms of city markets. And these are just this fun, casual way to grab a meal, check out some local fresh fruit and vegetables, grab some coffees, drinks, shop for fine art, clothing, crafts. There's pretty much a market for everything, and they are just a great place to hang out, spend an afternoon, and feel like a local. So sort of a pro tip for you here, plan your client's visit to either Cape Town or Johannesburg around the weekend so they could really take advantage of the market scene if they are market enthusiasts. So we also have lots of options for evening fun. We've got jazz clubs, gin bars, breweries, rooftop bars, nightclubs, and lots of music venues, along with a pretty busy calendar of major events and festivals happening throughout the year. Just next month, we have Cape Town Carnival happening. We even have an Africa's version of Burning Man, which is called Africa Burn, which takes place in April in the Karoo Desert. Now, South Africa is regarded as a leading art destination on the African continent, and you can find everything from fine art galleries to museums like the Zeitz MoCA. This is the Museum of Contemporary African Art. It's located in the V&A waterfront in Cape Town. This is an absolute must-see for art lovers. There are also boutique art galleries and artisan crafts and incredible street art with some really cool walking tours to see the street art, especially in the neighborhoods of Johannesburg. And the food, I mentioned it earlier, we could really go on all day about the dinings. There's just so much incredible options for gourmet restaurants, celebrity chefs, and pretty much more haute cuisine options than your clients will probably have time to try. And these meals, of course, are paired with incredible South African wines. And as I mentioned earlier, the value for money is outstanding. I cannot say enough how delighted your clients will be when they try some of these incredible restaurants. And I promise you the Nobu in Cape Town is by far the most inexpensive Nobu in the world. We have a video which brings all of these experiences together that you can take a look at in the handouts section. It's called Safari Plus. So do make sure you grab that video and check it out. It'll sort of bring to life all of those experiences. And another thing that brings South Africa to life are the people. If you've been to South Africa, you already know this. And your client's decision to spend their vacation in South Africa, it really makes a difference in people's lives. People who are genuinely interested in engaging with travelers, meeting travelers in this warm, hospitable way, a way that is uniquely South African. Most travelers to South Africa and even really the African continent start with this itinerary that includes Johannesburg, Cape Town, and a safari. This can be done in 2 weeks or less, including flights. Now, there's so much more to do than this in South Africa. We don't have time to cover it all, but TourRadar has incredible itineraries that can cover a wide range of these amazing travel experiences, package it all together and make it easy for you. And South Africa can be done at nearly any travel budget. The tour operators listing their packages can help you with every step of the planning and booking process and just make it as easy as they can for you. Here's a list of some of our sales and marketing resources to help you sell and learn South Africa. Now, in the handout section, you'll find a one-sheet available for download that has links to all of this, along with my contact information, which is here. But when you do download, if you do download that handout, please sign up for our newsletter. There we will send out monthly updates and we'll keep you informed with all of the latest news out of South Africa, press releases, any potential fam trips and training opportunities. So that is our quick virtual journey to South Africa. I wanted to open it up to our friends at TourRadar to chat more about some of the itineraries that they are featuring on TourRadar.
Christy, thank you so much. That was so wonderful to hear and to learn. I actually didn't know about the Marine 5, so that's really pretty cool. I want to jump into the itineraries. We've got a trending question over here that came in multiple times from multiple agents, and it's about the accessibility in South Africa for wheelchair guests. Can you take a minute to tell us about that?
Yeah, I think South Africa is the easiest safari destination in the world, especially, out of all the African destinations that can accommodate a wide range of of travelers, with accessibility challenges. So a lot of the lodges will have sort of these platforms where they can assist guests in getting in and out of the vehicles. And the infrastructure is set up so it's a bit easier to travel. You can fly on commercial jets through major airports to get around from point A to point B to point C. So that's something you would just have to chat about with the tour operator. And they can help guide you through which properties and lodges would be the best fit. But the short answer is yes, South Africa is accessible, definitely.
Awesome. Well, we are running out of time, and I want to be cognizant of everybody's time. Really quickly, I've shown up on my screen who the main points of contact are at TourRadar. Gay Span is our North American lead and is our primary contact for any questions agent related, but this is the rest of our team here. And really quickly, I will just show, if you have not yet signed up for TourRadar, you can do that by going to tourradar.com/agents. We just announced today our Spring Into Adventure campaign that will be beginning March 1st, so you can read about the details there. And then if you haven't registered, you would click this link, register, or already have an account and log in, and that would take you to our login page. From here, you can also begin to search for a destination. So if you were to type in South Africa, for example, you would land on this page. This has lots of amazing different filters that you can use to kind of filter down and determine the best place for your clients. You can search by departure date. You can look at adventure type, and that means either by group or by private. Private is also going to mean that you can custom make that or tailor make that. So if your clients are interested in a private tailor-made trip, this is what you would select, and then you could start asking the operators about those trips. Christy mentioned all of the different age ranges that are interested in traveling to South Africa. You can sort by the trips here that the operators themselves have identified are ideal for different age ranges. And of course, families are traveling. So if someone does have a family member that's coming that's less than 18, you can add their age in here, which will again, oh, I'm seeing that you're not seeing my screen. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, apologies for that. So tourradar.com/agents, here's where you sign up for TourRadar. Here's our top our tours, and then where you can start filtering and learning more about the itineraries that we have. Here's information on searching for age ranges, group sizes. I know Christy mentioned that Hermanus is a great location. If you wanted to search by must-see cities, you can do so here by typing in cities. Christy also mentioned that one of the most sought after itinerary is Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Safari. This happens to be one of our best-selling itineraries on TourRadar, which is our South Africa Escape 14 days, which includes just that. So the great thing about TourRadar's itineraries is that you can click through and you can see all of the wonderful places that your clients will see. You'll see a map. Here it will have the highlights of everything that they're going to see. This one, it says private, so you can request this as a private or tailor-made itinerary, and then you'll have day by day what the client is going to be doing. It will also tell you what's included. So in this one, for example, accommodations, flights, this is going to mean in-destination flights. So domestic flights within South Africa, not international flights if your clients are flying from outside of South Africa. Guide, meals, etc. And then what's not included is here as well. And then you'll learn about where you're going to stay. You can read reviews. You can see some customer photos that have been uploaded as part of the reviews. And recently, TourRadar launched our sustainability initiatives. And this for us is more than just clean air. It's about animal welfare, supporting local destinations with local initiatives and sustainability programs. And you can read all about that here. And we're running out of time, so I will share just quickly again our contact information here. As I mentioned, my name is Kimberly. I'm the Director of Partnerships and Head of the Advisor Program. Joining me today is Gay Span, who's our North America lead and primary contact for anything related with agents. And then also on the call today was Rahul Kamdar, who's our Partnership Coordinator, Global Support, and you can outreach to him with any questions as well. I think that brings us to our 30 minutes. And we thank you for your time today. And we will send out, we did have a number of people ask if we can send out the handouts. So absolutely, we can send a link to where you can get those handouts after the webinar. And thank you again for joining today.